So now that we decanted that off, there's liquid left in there. And so that liquid that's left in there could have some of that soluble substance still in it. And so we want to wash all of that away. And so what we'll do is we'll do 3 washes or 3 additional washes with water. So I'm going to add water in there. And I will again stir that just a little bit. I don't need to stir it forever. I did that earlier. I stirred it plenty earlier. Okay, so give that a chance to again settle. Shouldn't take all that much effort. This settles pretty well. Okay, and then again we are going to decant. So we'll take our stirring rod and lay it across there to help direct our decantation. Okay. I guess I can tilt this up a bit so you can see better. So just decant off liquid, well, not doing it too fast, making sure that that solid stays settled at the bottom, or at least best we can, so that we don't lose all of that. Okay, we're going to call that good because it wants to move now. There we go. Okay, so that was wash number 1, or addition number 2 of water. So we're going to add again. So what we're doing with these washes after that initial separation is these washes are to get any residue of that soluble substance that can be stuck, say on the sides of the container, or that were just trapped still in the liquid phase with that insoluble substance. Okay, and so then again we will decant. So we will do a third rinse, a third and final rinse of our insoluble substance. Look at that. We got just about enough distilled water, but we'll add a couple more of that. Second to finish settling, it pretty much settles right away, but there we go. Okay, and final decantation. There we go. Now, like I said, decanting won't always get all of the, won't ever get all of the liquid out. So you can see clearly that that's still pretty damp. or wet. I don't know that you could classify that as damp. But what we need to do is we need to then evaporate off that remaining water that's on there. That way we can measure how much of this insoluble substance was in our initial mixture. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that evaporating dish and let's see, I'm going to bring it over here to our hot plate. So I have a hot plate here, and I've actually got it set at about 100. Yeah, the angle makes it look like it's more than 100, but it's set at about 100. And so I have it preheating. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put that evaporating dish on the hot plate, and that will then evaporate my water off of that insoluble substance. And then we can let it cool and weigh it out. That way we can figure out how much of our mixture was that insoluble substance. Now, in the meantime, real quick, again, that stuff we decanted off is just a clear liquid. But again, kind of the flaw in decanting, or the kind of drawback of decanting, it can be a little tricky. If you're not careful, you can lose a little bit. If you look down in here, maybe you can get a good look. There's a couple flecks of that insoluble substance down there. Not much, but a slight amount. So our value is going to come out just a tad bit off what it should be, but that's okay. It's not too bad. If we wanted to do a better separation of those two, we could do a filtration with a filter paper and run the liquid through. That just takes a little bit longer. So we did it this way just to learn a little bit about general separation methods. So for now, we're just waiting. So we have to wait for this stuff to actually dry. So we're going to kind of pause, and we'll pause for the moment and let that dry. Once it's dry, I'll start back up, show you the dried substance, and we will weigh that stuff out. Okay, so now our insoluble substance that was left in the evaporating dish that was still wet when we stopped, it is now dry. So I let it on the hot plate for a little while, and then I took it off to cool so that then we can weigh it. So let's see if we can get just a decent look at this, so you can see it's moves around pretty nice. It's just a dry, grainy type of solid. And so that's the one component of our mixture. So what we want to do of the evaporating dish with that substance, and so that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and put the evaporating dish with that substance on there, and we've got a mass of 60.83 grams, and so that's our mass of the evaporating dish with our the one substance of the mixture that was insoluble. And then what you could do is, if you subtract the mass of the evaporating dish, that'll give you the mass of that actual substance that's in the evaporating dish right now. Just like if you took the evaporating dish plus the mixture and subtracted the evaporating dish mass from that, you'd get the mass of the mixture. So then you have the total mass of mixture, you have the mass of one of the things that was in there, and that will allow you to calculate the percentage of this substance that's in the mixture. Okay, so you just divide, the part that you're interested in, this mass, and divide by the total mass of the mixture and multiply by 100 to make it into a percent. And then for the other component, you should know how much or what the mass of the other component is, because all the remaining portion of the mixture is that other substance. So if you took the total substance minus the mass of this, it would tell you how much of the other one you have, and then you could divide by the total, multiply by 100, it would give you a percentage. And so that is what you will be doing for the assignment part of the lab. So the assignment part, you need to get in these these masses that we measured, the data that we acquired, and of course you'll be typing in some observations. So hopefully you took down some observations throughout, and then answering a few questions. And that is it for the separation of a mixture lab.